as I give God glory. Mhm. Listen, when
Hey, check it out. I got an edition called, I'm starting a new segment called Artist Spotlight. And what I want to do is introduce my first artist that I'm featuring on the show and helping promote her project would be Iva Foster / Iva Pace. She's got this is actually her second CD project that's in the works, and so we did a little just a little segment up here in the studio, and to help talk about her experience and her career path and a little bit about her project and so forth. So I hope you enjoy. It's called Iva Foster, and this new project is called Yo-Yo Faith, and she'll tell you how to get the project and so forth. So hope you enjoy.
let me tell you a story as I give God glory. Mhm.
Where you originally from?
I am from Palestine, Texas.
And so what brought you out to Tennessee?
Well, at the time, my grandfather was a pastor in Jackson, Tennessee.
Yeah.
So literally, the majority of my family just uprooted and headed to Tennessee to help him in ministry.
Okay.
So, been here ever since. It's now home to me.
Okay.
So,
And what inspired you? I mean, when did you start singing?
well, I started singing as a little girl. You know, it was 8 of us growing up. And so we were the choir. My father was the pastor at the time. My mother was the musician. And so she had all of us sing. Now, I just took a liking to it. Now, my siblings, not so much.
Okay.
But I just took a liking to singing. And they would just ask me to sing in different programs. When guests come over to the house, because we had so many guests always in our home. And they would just always come, Iva, come on down here and sing. And I was just a little bitty thing too, but I'd be down there singing my little heart out for them.
Right.
So, yeah, I was a little girl, probably around 3 or 4, it seems like.
Are you the only one that sing in your family, or do your sisters sing, your brothers sing?
You know what? Pretty much all of us can sing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just the one that just kind of took it to the next level. I have 2 other sisters, and they sing as well.
Okay.
They just didn't pursue their music. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And so, on this latest album project that you did, the Yo-Yo Faith, what was your biggest inspiration for that?
Man, my Yo-Yo Faith song, so it stems from a testimony that I had from the age of 9 years old. We got time to tell this testimony?
Mm-hmm.
So I grew up in the projects. It was 8 of us, like I said. We grew up in a large family. And so I wanted these pair of shoes for school, and they were called the Yo-Yo sandals. And they were just a cute little sandal with the hole in the heel. And I just wanted these shoes for school. And so my grandfather was always preaching about faith, having faith in God, having faith as the size of a mustard seed, you know, speaking those things that are not as though they were. And so at the age of 9, I don't know, it just really got in my spirit. And I remember asking my dad, you know, for these shoes for school. And this is the end of the school year. So he had all summer long to prepare to get these shoes for me. And so, like I said, there was so many of us. And I know, you know, looking back, it had to be a stretch because he had to get all of our stuff. My mom was a stay-at-home mom at that time. And so all summer long, I was just believing God and thanking God for these yo-yo shoes that I didn't see. And so all summer long, I mean, I'm thanking God. I'm not seeing results, but I'm holding on to what my grandfather was saying. And the week before school starts, I still don't see the yo-yo shoes. And people are starting to look at me crazy now, especially my siblings. They're like, I done went a little cuckoo because I'm walking around. Lord, I thank you for my yo-yos. Lord, I thank you for my yo-yos. Still no yo-yos. We're at church. My grandfather's still preaching about faith, and I'm trying to hold on with all I know how to as a 9-year-old girl, right? And so I never forget, like that weekend prior to school starting, I'm now trying to rationalize things in my mind, like, now mind you, Palestine is such a small town, and so I'm like, okay, well maybe it'll be a downtown. Downtown is closed. Well, maybe they have them in this store called Buddy's, because sometimes Buddy carried the little jelly sandals. I don't know if you remember those, but they had those. I'm like, well, maybe they could have some yo-yo shoes. Nobody had these shoes. I mean, it's Sunday now. Saturday, everything's closed. Now it's Sunday morning, the day before school starts. And so I'm in church. We had 2 services, Lord have mercy. I grew up Pentecostal too. So I was in church all the time. So I was just thinking, my grandfather's preaching and I'm looking around and I see the shoes and I'm still thanking God. And we go home after the first service. And my siblings are starting to look at me, they're kind of following me around, and I'm like, Lord, I thank you for my yo-yos. Lord, I thank you for my yo-yos. And so they're all looking like, yeah, she's lost it, right? So everybody's looking at me now because I've made it such a public thing, I just knew that God was going to do this. And so that happened, and now we're at the evening service. This night, services ended. Grandfather, was a great service. Everybody was just in such a great mood, and we go home for the night. And the only thing left for me to do now is go to bed and wake up for the next day, which is the first day of school. And so my mom is pressing our hair. I don't know why she waited so late, but she did. And now she's pressing my hair, and I'm sitting on the floor, and she's pressing my hair, and tears are starting to fall down my face. And of course, everybody knew that I've been, praising, thanking God for these yo-yos that haven't come.
Right.
And so she's trying to console me, and she's like, Iva, sometimes God just don't answer us in the way that we think He should answer us. So this is my mom trying to console me, and I was just like, no, ma'am, mama. I said, but I thank God for my yo-yos. So with tears flowing down my face, I was still thanking God for my yo-yo shoes. Now, mind you, it's around 11:45, 11:47-ish. I'm headed upstairs, and then there is a knock on our door. There is a knock on our door, and there's a lady at the door with this big trash bag in her hand. And she was like, I'm so sorry for coming by so late, but I felt led to bring this bag. Maybe your children can use what I have in the bag. So I'm supposed to be upstairs, but I seen that lady. Man, I took off down those stairs. I grabbed that bag, and I dumped that bag onto the middle of the living room floor. And then what was at the bottom of that trash bag was my yo-yo shoes.
Wow.
God created those shoes for me because I just refused to doubt Him, right?
Yeah.
I just held on to faith that, that was preached to me. I just held on to what my grandfather said, and I believed God all the way to the end. And so, I forgot all about this testimony for several years later. And I remember I was in this horrible relationship. It was a marriage, it's a very short-lived marriage. And I remember leaving, and I was sitting on the floor in my apartment, empty apartment, and I was just like, God, for the first time in my life, like, I don't have answers. Now I'm in my 40s, but I'm like, I don't have answers. Like, what do I do? And He spoke to me, and He said, yo-yo faith. And immediately when He said that, I remembered those shoes. And I was just bawling. And He said, I'm the same God. He said, I'm the same God, the same God that you were praying to when you were that little girl. He said, I've never changed. And so from then on, I knew that God wanted me to share that story with the world. Because how many people do you know today that are lacking faith, that just need that anyhow faith? Like, in spite of what the situation looks like, we're going to believe God. We're not going to rely on our emotions, because our emotions can be all over the place. But it has nothing to do with the Word of God. He told us to speak those things that are not as though they are. And it's like you're still thanking God even though you don't see them. And so my question is to everybody, like, what are your yo-yos? Mine just happened to be the sandals. as a 9-year-old girl, but as an adult, I've had a whole lot of yo-yo situations happening in my life. I've had bad health situations. I've had bad marriage relationships, things that happen with my children, business. I've been trying to get off the ground. Like, what are your yo-yos? What is that thing that you have before the Lord? And it's like you have to believe God all the way to the end until you see the results. Don't stop midstream. And I would always tell my family, like, man, if you could just imagine that as a little girl, just believing God and not seeing it. Sometimes you would be put out there as a spectacle. People will like look and laugh. But he said that he will prepare a table before you in the presence of your enemies, in the presence of those naysayers. And so they can watch you get blessed. They can watch you when God is pouring that favor on your life. But if I would have given up at 7 p.m., I would not have seen those yo-yos at 11:47.
Wow.
My faith, it caused that God to move because he only operates in faith. And so it compelled that lady to come. So that's where the yo-yo story comes from. And I decided to put a little song with it.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna insert that so y'all can hear.
As I give God glory. Listen, when I was a little girl, I wanted these pair of shoes. My daddy was the only one working, and every bill was due. Raising 8 kids, barely getting by. And although I didn't see them, I never questioned why. 'Cause I heard my papa preach, if you just believe, you can have whatever you wanted, and faith would be the key. So I got down on my knees and I began to pray, 'cause I knew that the Lord will somehow make a way.
All right, so let's do a improv song, and we'll do that. Here we come to worship.
Together lovely, all together worthy, all together wonderful to me. 'Cause I'll never know how much it cost to see my sins upon the cross. I'll never know how much it cost to see my sins upon the cross. Oh, here I am to say that you're my God. You're altogether lovely, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me. Here I am to worship.
Awesome. So, last, I really do appreciate you taking the time to come over and spend a little bit of time for this video, and send everyone to all the subscribers that watch the channel. For Yo-Yo Faith, let's talk about where we can get it and how people, where they can actually hear the album.
Okay, so the album is coming soon. We have already released it, but we had to make some changes. So right now we're promoting the single, and they can find that on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Deezer, any of your musical, outlets.
Okay.
So just look for Iva Pace, Yo-Yo Faith, and they can hear the single. And I just pray that it blesses everyone who takes a part and just letting it minister to them. It's a good
Awesome.
song.
All right, so y'all heard it there. So look for that on Spotify, Amazon, and all the musical distributions. And once again, this is gonna wrap up for this session. So thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
This is the one of the projects, but it's going to be re-released right here, Yo-Yo Faith, and you better see it. All right, thanks for watching that segment, and I really hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to do more artist spotlight segments like this. Other than that, thanks for watching, and definitely help support her project. Like she said, where you can get it from different places like Amazon and so forth. And it's being streamed on Spotify and so forth like that. So please support the project. Iva Pace, Yo-Yo Faith.
So I got
Thanks for
down
watching.
on my knees and I began to pray, 'cause I knew that the Lord will somehow make a way. He heard my cry and had a plan. What seems impossible to me, my God